I don't see a camera. I don't see a camera.
Oh,
Oh, let's put our cameras up. I think we're live. We're never gonna learn this go live. What's up?
ah,
Hey, I like my shirt to fade in and out. Hey, welcome to the show, guys. We're still figuring it out. It's Chad and Mario. Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, Mario.
I think so. 10:30.
Okay, I know you're not going to hear it because we haven't yet figured out our audio, but I'm going to give us an applause. So please stand by while our audience welcomes us to the scene. And let's just,
Bravo.
yes, it's amazing. And let's get a visual so you can kind of see when it's happening. So there it is. That's our crew. I love the little people and the big people. I feel like I'm with them. I'm 100%.
There's
Uh,
room in the world for all sizes of
everyone,
people.
even the invisible gray screen people.
That's right.
All right, so today's topic is how to stay on time with restreaming stuff. Now, we got we have a Mario has this thing. I had to look it up. It's called a. How do you say it again? It starts with a J. It's a job. You have a job, right? So you have
I've read
someone.
about it. Yes.
Well, no wonder like there's always food in your fridge when I come over. So
True.
my fingers are blue by the way because I not because I choked a Smurf, but because I tried to do a blue green screen back here. So it has improved my Zoom background, but not in OBS. But it's okay. So today's deal is we're all over the road. We got the notepad up. We're gonna do whatever we want, and we've got some topics to cover, and we want to be done by 11:15.
I could do 11:30 maybe.
Oh God, you got me hanging on with that gaslighting. It's like
Oh
every last
no.
minute.
Yeah,
I'll
I
be like,
might.
one more thing before we hang up. Okay. So far so good. We've got new subscribers coming on our React.js channel. It's over on YouTube. The tiny URL is tinyurl.com/learnreactjs. We've also got a ton of other channels: JavaScript, Node. We even have a Vue and an Angular. But primarily, just to kind of recap, Mario and I have been friends for years. He lets me talk and talk and talk, and he just rolls his eyes, and I know I got to shut up. But he's been a longtime developer who's been writing some cool code, and I helped him make some spaghetti JavaScript HTML code with some jQuery, and we're going to be converting it to React pretty soon. Maybe a little today and a little next time. What do you think about that, Mario?
I think I'm down for it. I also cleaned it up. You'd be proud of me. We got rid of all the extraneous code from the last session, and I got it up on the code sharing site Replit, but we're not locking into that. We're talking about some various collaborative coding tools out there, so we can learn a little quicker and keep it on the screen and keep people engaged instead of watching a couple of knuckleheads joke back and forth. So,
Blue knuckleheads.
fist bump.
No, yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, so check it. So I can't remember the names off the top of my head, and that's a good intro. And that's why my colleague and friend says that your audio voice is so soothing. It's so wonderful. I think you're destined for greatness, and I'm going to come along with you. Okay. So
yes,
code collaboration. I think it's Codio is one of them, and and then there's so like Codio. I can tell by the home screen this ain't the one I was ain't. This is not the one I was looking for.
atta boy.
This ain't it. But I've been watching too much YouTube stuff. But there's another. If you type in like live React JS programming, oh, got a
No,
link.
that was just me.
Okay, I was like, oh god, hold on, my mom's calling me. Uh, live JS React programming IDE. So we're working on a way to figure out how to be able to share both of our desktops at the same time. And apparently Zoom, which we're using now, says we can do that, but we weren't able to do it. Might require a reboot or we just missed something. But that's for future stuff. So for our four viewers out there, just stay tuned. It's going to get even better. So React IDE, here we go. Top 5 IDEs. If you get something on your end and you want me to screen share on your end, I'm definitely talking fast because we don't got a lot of time. WebStorm, React Tide, top
Remember,
editors.
the bonus part that we got to make sure it has is real-time collaborative action.
Yeah, and that has not been something I've been able to find yet. Like what I have been able to find, I was just helping. Who was it? I was just helping someone with their code, and I put it on this live stream. And we'll find it right now. So If we type in like web-based React, JS, JavaScript, maybe a visual will show the IDE. They do look a lot like. Oh God, I'm bombing here. We're bombing. Let's close out the theme. Let's quit. Let's start over. Oh God,
Forget it. I'm out.
we're out. Okay, just like that one. Remember Airplane, the movie?
Yeah.
Nobody else will remember, just us. So okay, maybe I'll slow it down. There's one man where it's like, all right, what is it? Okay, web-based React JS IDE editor.
Collaborative.
Well, yeah, I don't believe that they have that yet. Like, okay, let's see what this is. Dang, this stupid page again. I
Love
mean,
that.
I know. Code Sandbox. Look at this bad
Ooh.
boy. All right, so I think that this is the best one we have so far because we're going to be able to connect a GitHub to this account. Then you can probably make changes to it, and I can make changes to it. I'm not sure on that, but I do believe that it will keep separate sessions, and that's why when we get dual screen sharing, and I can put my blue hands up here and do dances with them, we're gonna be awesome. So notice that they've got like other start offs for like raw JavaScript. Here's Vue. React is blue, vanilla JavaScript is beige, and red for Angular.
Mm.
Okay, so React. Let's go to React. So just a quick run through, guys. I have no idea what I'm doing, and Mario knows everything. So just go ahead and direct message him, all four
We're
of
in
our
trouble.
users, and he's going to help you. If you need any free help, he'll come to your house and teach you hands on. He just told me. He told me in direct chat. So, okay, joke's over. All serious time. Open React. So take a look at this, Mario. Notice like right here, this gave me a startup housing for React right here. Like we could have gone with plain vanilla JavaScript, and then notice over here I'm already connected with my GitHub,
I got you.
and,
And
and
so I just went there, and just a heads up to folks, you'll need to log in with your GitHub. So if you don't have a GitHub account, get one and it'll auto log you in. And just so I can follow along, Chad, I logged in, and which React did you choose out of the templates?
they just defaults. So like right now
Okay.
I'm defaulted. What I'd like to do is figure out how I can, since I'm logged in with GitHub, see if it's possible to open up a GitHub repo, like the Mario test that we have.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I have not yet seen that. And so now we kind of see the requirements what we want. The nice thing about this thing on the left is it's got a library where you can run an import. These are the problems that guys are having when they're like on our groups in Facebook and they're like, hey, I want to show, why is this not working on CodePen? Well, it's because you pasted a bunch of React code, but you can't do an import in CodePen properly
Uh,
on some of the stuff. Some of it
that
you
sounds like a
can.
that sounds like a beginner move like I'd make. So I feel their pain.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I blocked him. I made sure he never talked to me again. No.
Good, good.
No, I struggled with it too. And I was like, this code pen should work. And it didn't work out. And even I couldn't get the guy's code to compile with this, but I could at least get his libraries. I digress. He was working with old code. And like I said, I blocked him. So
That's cool.
he's
Well, I
not.
got your same screen open, so I can work, along with you as you go through this.
Well, I think we're talking collaboration here. So I want to be like, how can I bring in, like, why would we connect with GitHub if there's not, like, I could fork this. But how do we? Let's figure out how we can open the a repo.
It's over on the side column, fourth icon down underneath gear.
Beautiful. So you need to own this. So I can fork a sandbox, but how do I? But I just don't not seeing. I'm just not seeing how we could open one.
Ooh, look at that live icon down there at the very bottom on the left side. What's that all about?
Where? Live.
That
That just means live. There's some fitness tips in there. Don't worry about that.
Oh, okay, like herbs, spices, and lots of hydration. Okay.
It says I need to own this sandbox to open a live session to collaborate with others in real time. Fork this sandbox to live share with others. See, I told you it's just about eating right and being healthy.
Nice.
So,
Fork it.
okay, yes, sir. All right. Oh, hello, Code Sandbox. We're live. Lettuces for
What?
breakfast.
Well,
Um,
send me a link.
yes,
Let me
sir.
make it
Yes, sir.
happen
Okay. And anybody up?
immediately.
Yes, yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I'll get two keyboards next time. Uh, so I can type faster. The thank you, dude. My jokes are on today. Let's take a break. The The guys over there in our four-person viewer land, feel free to go ahead and hit this link up. If you come on in and you're amazing, then you can have my job, which is amazing. I get to be live on Saturday, and you can talk to Mario. Okay, my last joke was better. Let's get you going over here. Mario, how am I going to share this on Discord?
Yeah, why don't you send me that link on Discord and let's see what I can see.
Are you doing like roundabout management? You're like, why don't you go ahead and
Why don't you go ahead and you know what'd be great is if you could wake up at 7, be on live streaming at about 7:30 or 8 o'clock at the latest.
I shared it in our, yes, of course, of course. I don't know why I got a shadow on my shoulder here. It's really ticking me off. This sun, I can't deal with it.
All right, let's see. I see the link. I'm clicking it.
There's a time check. We got exactly 50 minutes, Mario, so I'm going to need you to type 2 times faster.
Wow, I got it. I am seeing your items. Nice.
Hmm. All right. Well, so I don't know. Now the next thing that with this IDE thing would be like, I know we could probably push it to GitHub, GoHub.
Mhm.
There's probably a way to fork it and save it. Like I could have swore I opened someone's repo on one of these things. There's another one out there that's good like this, and you can pull in repos. If this thing doesn't do repos, I say we use it for some learning, but we want to get to the Mario test repo, right? At some point.
Yeah, that'd be optimal, I think.
So we can export to zip. Uh, help me out. You were so good on the last one. Deployment. Netlify. Dope.
Mm-hmm.
GitHub. Sign in. What the fuck? What the?
I think actually you should hit that little live button over there and go live, homie.
Well, I know. So like export your sandbox to GitHub repository name. What the hell? So I'm now logged into GitHub. I can create a repo, code sandbox client. Yep. All right. Maybe the best thing to do when we get down to coding is do something other than just screw around here. What am I doing? Help me out. Where's our 4 users supposed to help us? Privacy, public, create a template. So we're in a sandbox. Click go live. I'm live. Sorry. Forgot to listen to you. Don't fire me. It says I'm live. How about I give you out that link? Your audio might have dropped. I don't hear you getting happy.
Oh no, I'm very excited. I'm sorry. I muted because I was busy choking on some coffee earlier.
I need to hear heavy breathing to know that you're happy and alive. So
very heavy.
Okay.
All right, let's click it.
Yeah, what is it doing? Do you want to let me know when you want to share your screen so that I can just do bad jokes? But so far, this has been
So
going great. Yeah.
I clicked your live. Joining live session. It says now. So this is a plus. Now I'm in index. Now I wonder.
I see your text to Rooney. We're gonna be famous.
Look at this. This is what I'm all about, man. This is how I learned coding the best growing up. I had a buddy. He would ride shotgun with me next to me. He would tell me what to type. He would help corrections. It was killer. So
And what happened to him? And what happened to that buddy?
He ended up getting successful working at Qualcomm for 20 years. Still there. Shout out to Eric Balch, my buddy.
Oh wow.
Much love.
Sounds like you like him better than me, so I'll deal with that after this, okay?
Yeah, I totally love him better than you.
I'm gonna call you. It's okay. I got other people. Don't worry. But
all right, let's make a button, dude.
What are we gonna make a button? Let's make a button. Okay. How about you screen share and I say no 2 clicks up and we'll live share because I can change it too, right?
No, you know what? Yeah, you can get in there and type. I say I start typing on my side. You keep your screen going here. You can jump on in and correct. You can capitalize and camel case stuff.
I forget.
Your heart's content.
I forget. Am I sharing or are you sharing?
Just keep it where you're at.
Okay.
Because I'm doing live stuff here.
All right, Captain.
Look at this.
Now that I'm your second favorite coding friend, I'm moving up. So we want to make a button? Is that a fact?
Let's just keep working here.
Well, I mean, okay, go for it. I don't ever want us to use var again though. So just it's got to be let or const, but it's okay.
Darn it, I got it mixed up. I'm sorry. I'm still learning it. So there
I
was a
know.
discussion. Chad was pop quizzing the entire channel, and you should have seen the answers coming back. It's like, no, that doesn't work, and no, globals are bad, and no,
Yeah, globals are bad.
only let. Yeah, I don't
But
know.
there might be this thing called React globals. I heard someone mention it. I'm not going to pretend like I know tons about React, but I did watch some videos, so I can say
All right,
that.
you know what? Let's bang out simple button. How does that sound?
Okay, so watch my screen. Um, Basically, if I was just to, okay, if I was to fumble through it and just do it, it's called there's something called button, and you go import button from, and then there's something like depends on like where we're getting it, if we're using a material design library or whatever. And again, I don't know React that well, so let's just go how to make a button in React, and then let's take a look, and then there's a bunch of stuff. Then so there's this thing called React Strap. So if we import React Strap, we'll be able to import the button the way they say to import it, and then we can use this button tag. It's a component, right? And then it has all these variants. So here's a button toolbar and a bunch of buttons, and this is using React Strap.
Hey,
Uh,
let me stop you right there real quick. I think what would benefit the entire channel as well as myself is if you save these URLs from your search results, just slap them in the Discord channel real quick as you go.
no
That way
way.
we got resources to go back on them. How does that
No.
sound?
Well, I mean, it's just
So
you're the one who condensed us to 50 minutes time, and now we got to take notes. I mean, what's next? Do I gotta wear a wig?
it's pretty unreasonable. I understand,
Do I
man.
gotta wear a
But
wig?
you'd look good in a wig.
How about we just like digitally put one on? That'll be dope. Yeah, I mean, look, I'll make notes, but I'll tell you that you'll learn like the basics, and the basics are there's this thing called Bootstrap, and then when it comes to React, there's a thing called Bootstrap React, and then there's also this thing called React Strap, and it's a port of Bootstrap, and you've been getting experience with Bootstrap. It speeds up the UI development of certain UI components. Okay, and just to make it even more confusing for those beginners out there, there's a thing called Material Design UI. So
That's me
I,
documenting.
I see you got it. So I'll definitely capture these URLs, but also know this is a live stream video, and I just expect our 4 users to play this 24 hours a day at their house.
Hmm.
So
On the big screen,
I can tell
especially
you're
during
not,
Thanksgiving.
dude. I exactly. I can tell they're not doing it too because I go and I watch the analytics and it's all my data. It's like,
Hey, this is for us, man. We've made a big win today. Is that collaborative coding solutions? There's a lot of them out there. It looks like, and that's going to make learning way easier.
You know what I think will help the people on this end is keep track of who benefited this stuff the most today. So that's a plus one for me coming up with Code Sandbox. I
Mm.
did nothing to develop it. I Googled it. I love you, Mario. Plus
Check
one
it
for you
out.
getting us organized. We're going to have a scheduled time now. Let's get back to, thanks to you. You're like, pick a scheduled time weekly and please do that. So, dude, I'm wasting time. Let's see here. So we want to, if we wanted to settle on using React Strap, I wonder if there's a native button that's just raw React. React button. There has to be. So button and React. Here's Material UI. So we looked a little bit. So that'll go into the URL too, and let me capture that. And because you're pretty much the boss now, so I'll be reporting to you.
Go ahead and get on that.
And here is another. Here, I won't even talk. I'll just paste it. There you go. So notice like Material UI. This is something I'm using in the Next.js framework. Next.js is for React, and it does server side stuff too. It's a little more intense, but I dropped right in. If you've been developing for a longer period of time, or you want to drop right into professional stuff, I can recommend going React with Next.js and Material UI. It's a good model. I can talk with my hands. I'm having a good time. So here we have these buttons here. So you can take a look. Very similar to the concept as React Strap and Bootstrap is you've got styled UI components. So here's a
Mm.
primary, a default, a secondary, and we're really talking about theming at this point, Mario. And let's forget about our 4 users who are just probably making breakfast right now and not even listening to us. Uh, it's about you and me, okay? So, like, theming is an important part on the CSS side and on the HTML and JavaScript UI side. And when we go to do theming, Bootstrap historically has been the winner where there's like it's a library of code, and in a way it's kind of a framework too, and it's very popular. So React came around as a component architecture using virtual DOM, not native JavaScript document object model manipulation. And I know that this is for beginners and for you too, but this is like riding a complex bike. You're going to hear these things a few times, and then you'll hear them again, and you'll realize, okay, that's the basics. Is that like jQuery and traditional DOM manipulation is considered one way. It's not a wrong way, but it can be considered a little less performant, and some would say it's the old way. Then you look at something like React or Vue, or I believe Angular too. They have, I don't know if Angular has a virtual DOM. Let's just say React and Vue do. They have a virtual DOM. So, not to get too off on that tangent, but I want you to know as a developer who's getting into this space that when you have a tree of elements in your HTML and you use traditional DOM manipulation, you're directly modifying an HTML element, and it'll cause the browser to reshape the whole tree and re-render, which supposedly is expensive. Whereas if you're working with a virtual DOM, which is a copy of the shadow DOM, and you're using React, and you can basically modify one piece of the view, and it re-renders, and it's a lot less expensive as far as memory. So, hope that helped. All right, so we've looked at some buttons. You can tell my coffee is just paying off dividends. So like, take a look at this component. So if we were to import Material UI right now, they have this set of buttons right here we could play with, and we just click that, and we have all the code, and we copy paste. That's one way. Here's another set of buttons that are maybe less code. That's like that right there. So with no further ado, I think I'm just gonna we can delete it, but I'm gonna go back over here. I got that session going. And we're going to want to import a library. It wasn't until I was this age that I learned that I can't say library very well. Library.
You're learning, man. Good for you, bro.
There's the library. So take a look at our source. We've got an index.js. That's always the entry point file. It's a JavaScript file, but when it gets compiled out and rendered to a browser, it's really your HTML file. And you can manipulate that too, and sometimes shoehorn in stuff that isn't React specific. But right now we're working with index.js, and that's what you're seeing there. And we've got an error right now. I think what happened to our dealio? My stupid import. Okay, let me get rid of that.
Line 4. You're still working on it.
Okay, so we're back to that. So right here we have dependencies, React DOM for manipulating the document object model, and then I guess this thing called React scripts. So if we want to add a dependency like Material UI, we would just go Material, I think it's UI like that. And then so it says React components that implement the Google's material design. And so let's just take that in for a minute and do a time check, because I'm never, I don't care how much fun you're having at 11:30, I'm going to drop you. I'm going to say, how dare you have a schedule and then have fun. I can't even see what time it is. It is 10:53. So we have plenty of time to do some cool shit, and we won't get demonetized for the SH word. So Material UI, I'm going to bring it in, boss. Feel free to interrupt me at any time. Now it's in. So in order to get, and then it recompiles. It's still good. But the thing is when we want to bring it in, notice, like, let's say we wanted to bring, I can't see my hand. Let's say we wanted to bring in something not so built out, like this set of buttons right here. Maybe these little three guys are simple enough, yeah?
Sure.
Like, so we click on code, and it's going to show us the imports we have. We already have that one. I'm just going to hold my hand here because it's compelling. But we need these three. Import this. There's import button. There's import some colors from the Material UI core colors theme set. So this is going to help us. I believe we use Sass with Material UI. This is kind of like using Bootstrap for its theming, but this is Material UI. This is Google's implementation. And when we write code, we're going to do it the Material UI way. And so you can go ahead and throw this on your resume right away, put expert next to it, and you'll be rich. Let's just do it. I'm going to take all this right here, and there'll probably be something else we need to import as a dependency, but let's see. And if none of this works, then we can always delete this video. So here we go. I look away. Oh, new. Could not find dependency material UI core. So we're going to go to add dependencies. We're going to look for material UI slash core. And there she is. And we'll click on her. And then it recompiles. And white screen. So
Nice.
nice. Yeah, dude. No error, no nothing.
Nothing.
What the hell, man? So a rookie move would be to be like to start crying right now. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
Be right back. I got to start crying. I cut the
Oh,
feed.
you did cut the feed. Wow, nothing could go worse. Oh, you're back. Okay, good.
Okay.
I
Now
was
I'm
like,
here.
shoot, as if one part of the pressure wasn't enough. So don't you love these buttons? These are amazing. All right. Uh, maybe I gotta save.
Hmm.
Oh, it just cut. Hey,
What?
what are you doing over there, dude? Are you
Nothing, homie.
are you clicking on something?
Nah.
All right. Well, it bailed on us. It
What?
like, did you
Here,
see all those
hang
till?
on. Okay, I just control Z'd for fun. That brought it back. Nice. What?
Oh, you know what? All
Why do you
right,
keep?
one more time. One more time. I was
Why do you
hitting.
delete it?
I was hitting Control S to save because like I see this
Uh huh.
little dot and it seems like it's
Yeah.
not saved.
Wait, I'll
So
save it on my side. Okay, I just saved now.
that's weird. All right, I have no idea why this is not rendering. It's probably something to do with like we have return. Maybe it's our version of React, and maybe there needs to be like a render. Like the because like let's take a look. Like that. Okay, import React. Where's our imports? Let me go back. I think we lost something there. So we might switch over to trying out, just in the interest of making something work. We might go back over and try React Bootstrap, but let me get this material design code. And stuff like this when you're live, it's always like, oh, if I was just being careful and like paying attention, I would have seen what happened.
Nah. Again, this is real. I'll take real over staged perfection any day. Makes people more like engendered, like in the struggle. Like, oh, these two guys don't know exactly what's going on too, so I feel better.
Well, I just mean like more like the concentration of it. Like, why can't I save, dude?
Wow, that's nuts. Can you control Z on your side? Yeah, there you go.
Okay, will you save, please?
Yeah. Okie dokie. There we go.
All right, I'll just reload my screen and see like why are we getting a white screen. Again, it's probably and this is why like we're still learning this web-based IDE. But if we were to do this on local, this stuff, you can debug a lot better, or maybe I could just learn this IDE better. But like, let's see what's going on with React. What version we have? 16.6. Hey, look, it keeps peeling out our imports. Oh no, it's just formatting it different. Okay, my bad. They're right there. All right, let's back it up and see what used to work. Can you
If you go to inspect and check out the console, it'll show a few errors in there.
Okay, good. And there should be, well, right here under console, we got 0.
Well, I
The
right clicked on the white area and
yeah,
then did inspect like normal.
yeah, the console errors you're going to see sometimes are from the actual company that's serving us.
Hey,
Okay,
function sandwich.
what is this? React version not specified. You just cleared my console. It re-rendered. You left a live session.
Oh, I
Join
just
the live session.
refreshed.
So yeah, there is an error. It says the React version is not specified in the ESLint plugin settings. And that's
Uh,
from GitHub, Vanaker, ESLint. And I don't know if that error would really be a blocking error that blows up our screen. So what I want you to do is, can you Control Z this back to when it was still rendering?
let's see. Oh, you know what? No, we can't because I refreshed, buddy.
All right. So we want that boilerplate code that was there, and we want to just like go back from scratch because we're not getting. I just want to see the exports. Export default function, customize buttons, return. It should just return this stuff. So, like on my screen right here, if I say stuff, we should see something render. And we got 5 problems. Theme provider is defined but never used. Bootstrap button is assigned but value never used.
Those are warnings, but nothing,
Yeah.
like you said, nothing a showstopper.
Yeah, we're just not getting this IDE is just not okay. It's not even returning stuff. Let me get rid of all this. Import React from React. I wonder if they needed the DOM. All right, in another window, I'm going to start another boilerplate and bring it back over, and then we'll try again.
That's what it's all about. Half the dev work.
I guess. Yeah, I mean for sure. But we could pull this off just figuring out our VS. What's it called? Live. It's called VS Code Live, and we could connect to GitHub and we could use our IDEs just the same and have a much stronger control over our code. So I don't know. This live sandbox, I know I'm a rookie, but let me get a new create a sandbox for React. Here it comes. Here comes your copy and paste. See, it looks to me like they're using React DOM.render slash app slash root element, and I think that that's what we were missing. That's what we were missing. So you see my screen?
Yep.
So it seems to me that our app was fine, but my rookiness was like, hey, dude, you're not even writing back to index, which is this thing called app. You just brought in something as a component. So this is the const root element. Here's our function and our return. And notice they do function and return. Here's our return. So let me back this up. Okay, so now we're back in the game with no errors. But then over here, these guys do const root element equals that. And then the top is that. If I say that one more time, I'm going to just jump out the window here. Let's go like this. And just bear with me. There's that closing brace. And then there's the function app return right there. And here's, instead of doing this export, we're going to do function app return. And then maybe move this right there. And damn, that failed hard. And then kill that. And why is that not working? It seems like that should have worked. Let me pull this out and see if it gets happy. We're close. Doesn't like
Nice.
that. I think it has something to do, or maybe React DOM is not defined. Yep. Okay. So then back over here we have React DOM. So for its output, and we'll go put that up at the top. And then then everybody's getting happy, but then it's mad about the classes. So I'm gonna I shouldn't have deleted that crap. Do you think if I start swearing things will get better?
It usually helps for me.
Okay, I've moved back to that. Let's pause real quick and get the React DOM stuff brought in.
Do it. Do it.
This high-tech crap. Syntax error, unexpected token. So probably I just have a extra plextra read all about it. So there's my return, and then there's that closing return. It doesn't like that.
Right after the last div, there's that extra line 99. There's a closing parenthesis with no matching open one, or the matching one is for return. Gotcha.
Right. So let me just look at right here. So if we brought this over here, let me just carefully. It's cool that it's just a syntax error. So just go ahead and pull this right here. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just see if we can get something to compile correctly like this. And let's take a close look at the sample where it goes function app brace. There's brace to brace, which we do have. Man, I didn't back that stuff up. Please stand by while I show the world my React skills, which definitely need some help. All right, and then we'll just go back to the boilerplate. Screw it.
Do it.
And then we put the boiler in here, make sure we're compiling. Okay, so everything's clear, and then we got the div to the divs, and all that's legit. But then over here, I have this stuff, and we really just want the div to the div plus the styles. Hopefully, that'll just not be mad at us. And so we'll go div to div. And then I think it's mad that the styles are being instantiated inside the return. So we'll just put them there. Okay. Invariant violation, invalid hook calls. Hooks can only be called inside of the body of a function component. Well, that's helpful. If Victoria was on this, she could definitely explain this to us in a second.
Definitely the
So,
skill set that you need in these kind of sessions.
yeah, let's bring it inside of the whatever the boom.
Oh, look at that.
So look, you don't have to read the documentation. When you ask Victoria French, who's joined our Discord world, and I'm going to bring her up just like we bring up Brian and Matt and Ivan and you, all of us, we're sharing this environment, learning how to share, learning how to make stuff. Victoria French, the other day, she went live and showed me some stuff, Mario. She is skilled. She's been using React for 7 years since the beginning, and she's going to
Nice.
teach us a lot. And she said she didn't read the documentation. She read the code. I was like,
Dang.
it reminded me of Python Flask because I actually did read the framework, and it was like, okay, that helps. You can't help it with that framework. All right, so now we did this. So what I want you to do is, how about on your end? Will you try recreating the same magic, or what do you want to
Ooh,
do?
dang, buddy.
I just accidentally deleted all the code, by the way. So I don't
Here,
know.
wait. Let me control Z it.
Okay,
Wait.
let me back it up on my end just so we know that we can get somewhere decently fast. Now we don't have to do that, but I do want you to get embarrassed live on TV. So
Oh, I like that, but I like getting embarrassed on data manipulation. So how about if I like do some JSON imports and displays into a text field? That's my forte.
mm, mm, well, we really want to like last time we did the JavaScript HTML stuff, and we that's cool. I don't want to say no, but we do have
What do you
20.
want to see me do?
Well, we have 23 minutes left, and I do want to review your other application, maybe, and I do want to evolve it towards React. Victoria's into React. I'm learning React. You got Brian Barber, and you need to get your head around it too. Exporting CSS, that'd be like me saying, "Hey, want to see me change this light bulb?" It's like, light bulbs have been changed before. So I do want to see that stuff as part of a bigger deal. So,
Let's
all right, so
see.
let's go with what you want to do. But I think that the React stuff and then the UI stuff piece, like, why is this breaking now, Mario?
I don't know, buddy. You blew everything away, and I control Z'd, but I don't know.
This looks
That
horrible.
was that was strange.
What the hell? That don't belong there, G.
Yep. Ah, there it is.
All right, let me just get a clean backup. So, okay, what we showed everybody out there, the point is like, I would like you to know how to use an IDE and go grab some UI code and put it in the React way. But before we put you on the spot, let's at least pretend. Can you unselect?
Yeah, I just wanted to get a backup of that.
Yeah, okay. I got a backup of it too. Let's be the guys that I don't know what I'm doing really, but we're gonna talk about what we think we learned. Okay? So
Alrighty.
so real quick, I'm gonna run through it with you and just there we go. So at the top, we have this IDE that imported the defaults, import React from React. Okay,
Hmm.
so notice on the IntelliSense, we got a sandbox, node modules. That's why when you go to make a React app on your local machine, you're going to
Hmm.
use something like create React app or create Next.js React app or whatever the term the CLI does. And then that
Hmm.
gives you access to the node module library, right? And then this thing called the document object model. So there's the React DOM for manipulating the virtual DOM and the actual physical DOM when it needs to change. And then you've got these imports here where these were literally copied and pasted out of something called Material UI Design from Google, and it's their React implementation. But they also have, in case, like, let's say that you worked on a team this year and you learned Material UI, but they were coding in Vue, you could come over to a React team and you would be pretty familiar with how to manipulate and use the many components that Material UI offers. Make sense? A little bit? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so for theming in this case we chose Material UI. It's a cool stuff, and then it's importing create MUI theme, Material UI theme with styles, make styles, theme provider. These things are going to give us access to when we're writing code. We can write code the Material UI way, usually in CSS and JavaScript, but it's part of their framework. And then here's their core. And then we imported, now because we get all of this stuff from them, we can import button from and then Material UI core button. And then we're automatically, it's going to inherit any default themes we did. And then normally when you build this thing up on your local, you're going to see some boilerplate code like where the theme is already started and you can start extending your theme set. Um, and then we have some const variables, which, except for the objects, which just so we learned the other day, constants are immutable. However, if you cast a object, such as an object or an array into them, you can modify the property values of that object. So that's why some of these things in here are dynamic. It's just that const bootstrap button equals with styles. Like this piece, this root object, you can't call that root 2. You can't update the const. It's constant, but you can change these things dynamically inside of it. So
Oh.
that's where the trick is with when we talk about const, is that they're like, yeah, it's immutable. It's supposed to give you a constant variable. It's new to ES6. Whoop-de-doo. But that's the other trick question you'll get in interviews and stuff, folks out there in four-person watching land. And anyways, moving right along. And then the thing about let versus var is that there's this thing called hoisting, and there's also the scopes. And there's the way that at the last second, the JavaScript browser is interpreting everything to render. And you can do some pretty tricky willy things where you set variables undefined, not undefined. You can do things out of order that aren't human readable using var, and they'll still end up working, which goes back to like developers wanting to be able to know what the other guy's writing, the way he's writing his code, and then he knows what he's doing behind the scenes. So they created this thing called let, which is a way to instantiate a variable, but it's scoped to blocks. Like an if statement is a block, a
Mm-hmm.
switch statement in the block. So you can use the let decorator, the let keyword when you set up a variable, and it'll protect that. Because if you and I are on the same team and I write a for loop inside of a huge method or inside of a big class or whatever, and I use the variable I and you use the variable I and you're like var I and I'm like var I, or if I forget because I'm a rookie to put var keyword on it, I will end up in a different place. It'll end up in root. And what will end up happening over time, months and years, is someone's like, why is the application breaking? It's impossible to debug. There's a collision, and this is why we have protected scopes. This is why
Mm.
we don't use the global tray. It's not because they're bad or evil. They're fine if you're going to make Mario.js and it's your own little app and you know you can write everything as a global. It doesn't matter. It's not going to
Mm.
cause you memory issues. It's about writing code with people and best practices. So moving right along, that's the const. There's how the button gets auto executed and first gets established, and then it just sort of exists right there through that button call, and so on and so forth. Copy paste masters. Then we get this return, and then one thing you can do with divs, like the React framework or library, really wants at least something like this. That tricks the renderer to know that you have some sort of an element envelope, and then everything you do in between, it's as long as it's semantically correct, syntactically good, it will render. But I noticed Abramov the other day, he didn't do that. He does it like that, and he's one of the contributors to the core. So that's why you're always going to want to, whoops, whoops. You're always going to want to wrap everything with divs, at least one root level item. All right. And then here, because we're working with index.js, the stuff I copied and pasted could have literally been put in a file called buttons.js, and it's a component. And then in
Mm.
this file, we would import the component. And then that way we wouldn't have been hooked up like we did. And all right, I'll shut up now and just say, what do you want to do next? Now it's your time.
Well, we got buttons already, so I think the next logical progression is seeing what sort of output, text fields, lists, etc., from these libraries out there.
Okay. And then with a time check, we're 15 minutes away from 11:30, and I was a
I
total.
think we might be able to go to 11:45, buddy. I
Okay.
know, I'm pushing it.
Look at my blue. I got blue fingers so that I can green screen them out. They're like, don't make me lose a hand over this.
You
Um,
see?
well, yeah, but we got a half hour, and I think that I wanted you to get some in some React experience. So I turn it over to you. You direct me and say, what are we doing next? I'm sorry, giving you a hard time about importing, exporting JS files. Let's do your thing, or do whatever you want, boss.
Well, you see, I actually, here's where, again, I've done this before on other videos. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what Vue and React are like beneficial for versus traditional JavaScript and HTML. I don't know the pros and cons. I don't know where they excel and why they're so like awesome. So that's why I'm like going back to the basics because I don't know anything about React and Vue and why they're special and why they're different and why people use them versus traditional JavaScript and HTML. So maybe you can break that down. Oh, you already did right there on C sharp corner.
Yeah, and I'll just say it like a guy who rambles. I think from what I've understood is one of the main benefits is it uses this thing called virtual DOM, which like I already talked a little bit about. And there's great demos that you can look at that'll show you the example with graphics. Another thing about it is the idea of composition and component-based design. And the thing about these components is that each one of them is its own little encapsulated environment. And you have these things called the state and the properties. So state and properties allow you to have this collection of multiple components. Like we just messed with a components with the buttons and we put it into the index.js file. But in reality, if we were building a big application, we would have a buttons component layout. We'd have a list my movies component. We would have a homepage component, and they're almost like sub pages, right? Like in a content management respect, you have component little stuff that gets stuffed into the larger main. And the idea of React and Vue is the modern way to really have a standardized way to collect things into these smaller collections, and they're also protected to a degree. And they have standards such as import, export, and they leverage things called state and property. And then you can use something which we don't have to use Vue or React to use something like Redux, but Redux, as you may have already heard, is like for state management because it can get kind of complicated subscribing or applying state across all these guys, all these different components. So, with no further ado, I don't think I gave it the best. Let's just say why. What is React and why? They got a bunch of text, some JSX, single way data flow, virtual document object model. Here's your graphic. That's horrible. Simplicity, easy to learn, native approach, data binding, performance, testability.
Ooh, data binding. I
Yes,
like
sir.
that.
So there's a lot of benefits to it. The bar to learn it can be a little bit higher. And scarily enough, I feel for people out there who've just coming into programming and starting with React and having no JavaScript experience, or never doing document.get element by ID, or use create element, which are native JavaScript functions. So you got to kind of learn the core also, which is like ES6. You really got to have a foundation in ES6 to get the best out of React. And I'm not claiming I do. I mean, that's why we're doing this live screen share. We're gonna learn this stuff together. All right? Because anything I tell you, I just learned last Tuesday. So don't
Um,
let's not pretend like.
hey, you're not putting airs on like I've known this for years.
Well, I mean, shit. I mean, we only got a certain amount of time, and I've said shit twice. So I want to show.
Demonetize.
I know. And like, here's a great example. In all of our channels, all of them, I got thousands of people, Mario, and all of us are in our groups. I said, hey, someone explain suspense to me because it's the new thing in React. It's not even fully supported. And everybody had like some very tangential ways to answer it. But it wasn't until I watched Abramov, the guy who made it in his living room, he made a great example of what it looks like. So I'm going to just show you that the best 30 minutes you're going to spend with, if you want to know what React suspense is, you can read 50 blogs, write a bunch of code, talk a bunch of shit. But like if we go to Abramov React suspense, this guy visually shows you that it's about event-driven
My name is
pro.
Dan Abramov. I
I
work
don't know if
in the
I don't know if everybody out there can hear the audio, so I'm just going to mute
Foxtail.
him. But like this guy's awesome, and so he goes, it's about data fetching and code splitting, and gosh, that sounds technical, right? But we'll move through it, and what he starts to do is we can accidental loading states, boilerplate code. It's a pain in the ass nowadays. Race conditions are an issue when you have all these components you're trying to light up, and React is for bigger applications. Okay, so this guy makes a box office list. Here's his components. He's got a spinner, a movie list page, and a movie page. They're much just like the pieces that get collected together. And then he's kind of basically saying that in today's time, you're going to use Redux or MobX, and you're going to write a bunch of code, and you're just to kind of manage how these guys load into the page, and you do a bunch of spinners, and it's a pain in the ass. So he's recommending something like Suspense that allows him to do this kind of stuff. Let's move right ahead. So he's kind of demonstrating, look right here. He makes a little component inside of here that shows latency where he can do pretend testing. So if someone's on like a 3G or if they're on a high bandwidth, how do I want my components to load into the screen? Because nowadays you'll see with CSS, JavaScript, and HTML, you're just leaving it up to the browser to decide. You see the graphic up here, and then the text over here, and then the list pops in whenever it wants. It's not rich internet application stuff like Flash at all. It's kind of like just in time, where you're like, go ahead, browser, figure it out, and here's my stuff. So code splitting and all these other high-tech terms are basically just saying, let's make everything optimized, which React automatically wants you to do when you do components-based design, but then now let's coordinate the way that they render to the page. So that's what he's got here is like, if you'll pay attention to where he gets to a point where he can do some pretty neat little stuff, like he can set a delay on one of the placeholders of 1.5 seconds. And so what I learned from him and about talking about Suspense is that you can literally not write a lot of code and make stuff one way for 3G and the other way for the high bandwidth folks. And for the high bandwidth folks, show everything at once, only one spinner. Or show one spinner on one component and do it like this. And like it's very detailed, but not too complex to implement. So he goes through and he kind of shows how he does that. And let's let it play for a minute here. So yeah, he's playing with the latency, clicks the button, and there's the one all at once page load. But in reality, this is a separate component than these list component here. So he's been utilizing this thing called Suspense, and he hasn't even really given it a name. It's kind of a code name. And he goes even further. So this is a really advanced technique to talk about, to say that you know about it. But if you spend 30 minutes watching this guy's video, you'll be like, oh my God, I can almost talk about it. So you look right here, he starts to implement a spinner right there on the component itself, and you get even more granular. So I know we went from like 0 to 60, but we're talking about lists and buttons and components, much like building a vehicle. Like if you're going to build a car, you would go buy all the components at once and start hashing it together. That's what React can be and why you use these libraries and frameworks. So I digress. You haven't hung up yet, but like, so I recommend watching this video because he's a great teacher, and then he really says at the end here, like here's him doing some latency testing, and there's his different components there, but this spells it all out at the end. Life with version control, no. He calls it Suspense, intentional loading states, no boilerplate code, no race conditions. And now you know Suspense. All right, I digress. I feel like, man, we'll delete this last 15 minutes, but it's how, you know, how I've been learning, and it was pretty cool stuff, dude. It's the bleeding edge React stuff we just looked at. So, I forgot what we're doing next. I think what we could do that would be beneficial in case you want to say, let's do this instead, Chad, is we can make a component file and bring in more material UI like a list or like a drawer or something else.
Sure. No, I'll let you guide me along the way here.
Okay,
I like watching you pilot it. It doesn't have to be interactive just yet, so I like letting you pilot because you seem to have a good vision of the next steps involved, where we'd go from here for a beginner like me. So yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so cool. Thanks, man. I'm also being cognizant of you never returning my phone calls again, and I'm like, damn it, I made it less fun for him. So, all right. Jokes aside, we've got this thing. We've now buried everything into index.js, which in reality we should probably move these buttons, whatever this is supposed to be, into a separate file. So going back to our boilerplate code, which I had somewhere open, I guess right here, no, right here. So I'm going to dump this back to default and we're going to start over. So now we're back to what they said is the normal number one, let's get going. And this is index.js. This is our home page. This is our main. More than just the home page, this is the thing that gets settled for everything. And Mario, whatever you're doing, I wasn't able to save. So can you save it on your side?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Okay, so index.js is sort of the housing where like you'll do some major imports for the entire application, but you normally won't embed what I just did directly in there. That is only so scalable. So we're going to start a new file, and we're going to call it. We're going to create a file, and we'll call it buttons.js. Now, what we want to figure out how to do is go get our code to work that was our component code, and it's going to be a lot easier now when we go over to, where's my material design? This very same buttons code we were working with, we can now just copy it and we can now bring it over and put it right into buttons.js, and it looks pretty happy because we already have the dependencies, there's no errors, and now we've got an example. And will you go ahead and give me a save?
Oh, yeah. Let's get in there. You're so crazy not being able to say it. Whoa, what the?
All right, I'll try to save this time. Oh, crap.
Go under a file save up there.
I did once and it didn't work.
No?
Okay, so this time it's saved. All right, so now like this is the where we're moving up. Components, components, components. A button is a component, but when we make a component in React, it can have a collection of components in it. Think about it like a container, and there is a tag called container as well. I'm not exactly sure which framework, whether it's just Material UI specific or if it's React specific. I'm still learning, but you'll start to see this commonality of a collection of things in the container. So we've got this thing called buttons.js, and it's got all this stuff in there, and it renders 3 buttons. We're going to call it buttons.js, but it could be called navigation.js. Maybe we'll rename it later. What we want to do now is import it over here to our index.js that somehow got fried. So let me go put that back and save.
That's nuts, homie.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm sure it's user error on our end. So like, let's make sure we're not frying all the files. So we got this root sort of master page, but now we want to import our component. And again, I'm still learning React, so it's going to be something like import buttons from, and then we have to do the path. And we'll just say ./buttons. And it's mad because we're not using it yet. And this is where I'm going to have to Google something to be like, how do we now use it? Whoop.
Oh, do you need to include the extension?
No, and then I think what we can do now is just go like this and do buttons. Almost. I know I'm forgetting something. Can't be this easy. So, okay, it is that easy. And then, so now that we've imported, what'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
Okay, it says import buttons, but buttons is declared, but its value is never read. So that's strange to me because I'm working from memory, but I could have swore importing it like this gets us this file, and then to use it, you just return it like that. So this is where obviously my beginner stuff starts to shine. I'm going to pull up my GitHub and I'm going to take a look at what I'm doing in Next.js and see if we can get an example of what I'm messing up here. I might need to read more, dude. So,
no.
Yeah. And I'm still checking time. I hate to end this thing where it's like it's not working. So let's see if I can get this and then open Visual Studio Code. We got our jokes in though. Like I'll watch this video again. There wasn't no major stuff.
I'm gonna set it to watch later so I can watch it on the TV tonight with the woman. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Do me a favor and also watch it on loop on YouTube while you sleep, 8 hours, so we get that
Okay.
because we're trying to get to 4,000 hours. And don't tell YouTube I said that. All
Oh,
right.
what's
Yeah. So here we got this thing. So you're looking at my screen now, and time checked, 11:30. Okay, perfect. So notice here when I go import something from something like
mm,
meta, I get meta. Ah, okay. That we need to do an export. Hold on, I've got one of my fans calling me. I'll just take that later. Let's see. So like in this, let me make it not so comfortable, weird looking. In this Next.js React app, I've already got things sort of broken out. I've got a layouts folder with a main, might be a little, but then I got a components folder, and here's one called meta, which is like for the meta tags or whatever. And then here I go const meta, and it's sort of this new school function, and then
mm.
it exports. Okay, so that's what we got to do over in our component over there. Is we got to make sure that we can when we import that thing
It
that
returns something.
I think so. So like right here we got const bootstrap button export. I guess it's going to be a bootstrap button. It's a const. So maybe I should just try to do import bootstrap button from buttons and then do like something like this. So that almost worked. Like it's kind of happy. Maybe I had like to type it wrong. I'm missing a capital B. It's almost happy. It's about making the machines happy. Because if you don't make them happy,
Then our future overlords will be displeased.
if they see us mistype one more time.
It's
So,
on.
so there you go.
Ah.
All right. So look how clean that is, and it's a nice separation of concerns. And if you and I get to developing together, you can work on a component in isolation, and I can work on a component in isolation. And then when we're ready to insert them into main, we can do that and roll it out to production. And there's nobody like, hey, I'm waiting for you to fix the latest method because only you can touch it. It's like, no, we're doing everything in our component spaces. We do import some standards, like we're both using React,
Mm-hmm.
and we can both write custom methods like inside of this guy here. So I'll call this navigation. I'm going to rename it and call it navigation.js. And then over here inside of index, we're going to be you just don't use the extension navigation. And then instead of calling it that, we're going to go call it just to stay like awesome. We'll see how many of these we have in here. We'll call it, whoops, navigation. And I hope this thing doesn't break on me on save, dude. Okay, good. It's down with us. And then right here, this guy should be now called navigation. So it's better naming convention. Let all that sink in. And now I'm finally like a navigation, dog.
Hey, you know what? It's a vernacular, kind of a regional dialect.
Yeah, like the best way to get off the phone with me on this thing would be like, "Hey, Chad, this has been great. Hey, I gotta go check some email. I'm gonna get out of here now. I'm
The
gonna."
best way is like, oh, that's great.
So that's that. Yeah, it's great stuff. Okay, but we borrowed a bunch of stuff. Like we went to like what's a car? Where do you go when you're gonna get a new gasket for your car? You go to like Pep Boys or
Napa
something.
Auto Parts,
Right, you went there and we
Pep
bought
Boys.
some stuff and we're like, these are standards and there's the parts. That's what React gives us, and that's what Material UI gives us. Is it gives us standards so we can start basically doing rapid application development with a standard and a lot of performance gains supposedly, and I see them. So there you go.
Okay, so I think for round two, when we circle back and do our follow up and build on this existing project without messing with it, I'd like to get like try and move forward with the component based stuff. I'd like a scrollable table view, where we
Yeah.
could have an image, a brief text description, like a title, and then some text beneath it, all nice and compartmentalized and have a bunch of those drawing data, like that example that Homie was doing with a picture of like a
Ah,
DVD or movie, thumbnail, along with a brief description and the title in a scrollable field, and something to do when we click on that.
yeah.
Something that'll
Eh,
that'll handle that.
That's what's amazing is Abramov is one of the guys that wrote React, writes React, the core, and he put out his code in that video where we can download the source and then we could
Oh, cool.
adapt it. Yeah, and what's nice is he's using very common design patterns like a grid and a detail page
Mhm.
and the navigation piece. So those three pieces working together using suspense, it's very modern. It means like you and I, if we use his stuff as an example and we adapt your stuff to it, we're bringing the
Mhm.
jQuery old school DOM manipulation way right forward into the latest and greatest using suspense. So that'd be dope. So let's do it.
Cool.
All
Let
right.
me do this
Yeah.
before we split. Let me fire up an example of what I'm thinking of. I've done it in Corona, and
No,
I'm
no, no,
sure
no.
it's
I got some emails I gotta go check. No, I'm kidding, dude. Of
okay.
course.
Wow,
It doesn't feel good, right?
strange
It
man.
hurts right here. It hurts when someone's
Hurts.
like, I have some Facebooking to do. Hold on, I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta like something real quick. I mean,
Let,
I'll
I
can this
know.
wait? I'm
Well,
having a
people
tough
jump
time
off.
with
They
the.
jump off live stream. They're like, I gotta go, and then I see him on Facebook over here, like posting a puppy dog, and I'm like, how dare you?
That's so
You
great.
better stay with me. Okay, let's make you share.
Share.
Er.
Er.
I'll stop sharing. Please share.
Don't do it. All right.
I'm
Okay.
gonna
Let's
mute
see.
myself too. Dang it, I'm gonna mute
No
myself.
way, homie. Don't
Yes,
do it.
yes.
Already doing in Corona,
Oh, I
where I
muted.
could
I,
start.
I muted you on accident. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
Wow. So I was just talking to myself. I mean, what else
I'm
is new,
sorry.
dude?
Say
You've
it again.
changed.
Say it again, man. It's real TV, man. 4 viewers live. Go. I know you're doing the fake mute. I know it. I could tell you did
Ah,
it.
you tried.
Is
All
my
right. Can you?
audio? Is my feed frozen?
No, you're good.
Okay. Let's go. We got 7 minutes.
All right. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Killer. Okay, so that's a scrollable table view, just pretty much like what he was doing already. And so the idea is this thing has like 3 or 4 pieces of underlying data, a URL to grab off the web or from local storage. That's fine. We can just have a bunch of thumbnails, and then it has the title, then it has the issue, then it has the price and a description. So, anyways, as I click on them, you can see the output coming through here. It calls the that particular element's data description, price, etc. And so that'd be killer. I think that'd fit right along the lines of what we're already talking about.
Yeah, I'm excited. And then since you said we could go to 45, we really do have 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pull up his video and I'm gonna find his link at the tail end, so it's part of the vid. I'll put it in the link. I'm gonna do a dance, and I'm gonna yell at you for using Sublime. Okay, everyone is using VS Code. Could I
Oh, if
call you?
everyone jumped off a cliff, should I go and jump off a cliff, homie?
Well,
Bail. I even got Adam.
after everybody, so you land on them nice and soft and walk away. Go through their
Man.
pockets though. Go through the pockets.
But
Whatever, man. Yeah, you like Sublime, it's fine. Don't do VS Code. I'm just teasing you. Let me on my end. Is there anything else you want to show while I'll search on my end for that link? I'm gonna go, or should I share back my screen?
no, I think you're golden. Let's share back your screen. You're the master and commander, homie.
Oh, I love that movie. I just feel like crying. You're like, we're going down with the ship. Isn't that what happens? Just give it away.
uh, I don't know. You might be giving spoilers. I never saw it.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I don't find any interest in that movie at all.
I can't. Yeah, I only watched it once. I was kidding too. But I will.
Homie, you know
Let
what's
me
so
just.
great
What?
is I
What?
can't stop sharing, man. I can't. I love it so much. There you go.
It's okay. I was able to click share, and I think we're sharing my screen now. So I'm watching intentional. So this is Abramov. So from now on, he is the JavaScript Jesus. I'm not afraid to say that online now, and I mean Jesus, because he is the man, Mr. Abramov. Don't tell Ivan. but Ivan's busy not on our live stream, so
He's never gonna watch
he's
this
been
anyway,
replaced.
so
Exactly,
come
dude.
on.
He's live Eving. He's on the Eve live. So here we go. React with suspense. Continue with data fetched. Flushes changes to the DOM. Async rendering with React.
Perfect. That's important.
Definitely. No, this is right what we've been needing to do. That's why I feel like this guy's a genius because he knew the best demo when he went out there to do the live deal. But here comes his link. Adapt. Okay, async rendering with React. Adapt to a user's device and network. Fast interactions feel instant. Slower interactions feel responsive. Okay. So the link is coming up. The link is coming up. The jokes are running out. You could be checking Facebook right now.
Oh, I am right now. Oh,
Oh,
cool.
that's
Cute
awesome,
cat.
bro.
No, I'm
That's
kidding.
awesome.
I'm actually ready to document his link as soon as it comes up in the Discord. So
I
you can
know.
put those inside the
And if you're
YouTube
interested in
description, buddy.
Let's hear the Jesus talk.
out, it's called Beyond React 16. I gave it at JSConf Iceland.
Oh, we just missed the link. But let's hear him talk
Damn
again.
him.
And it
Well, since we're
covers
killing
everything
time,
we've
listen to
done.
listen to the man.
And so this feature is part of an umbrella of features, and we call these features async rendering. And we'll be sharing more in blog posts and on Twitter about what async rendering means and how you'll be able to use it in the future. So our goal is to adapt to the user's device and network constraints to make fast devices and fast networks
Easy.
feel instantaneous and have a very good cohesive user experience. But for slower devices and slower networks, we want them to be UIs to be responsive and intentionally designed to handle these cases.
If I had hair, dude, I would do it just like that. It's important.
Slick back,
Oh shit,
bonus
I missed
pompadour.
it.
Oh, man, what did you do?
Okay, here it
If you
comes.
had caffeine,
I have had caffeine. There it is.
if you had caffeine,
I'm gonna have some more too. So everybody out there in La La Land, FB.me, strangely enough, goes to like Tumblr. This guy's connected. So fb.me/beyond React 16. I'm gonna pull it up in the browser and
turtleneck.
React. Oh God, why do I gotta? What's up with my memory? Read it to me, boss. fb.me. See, you weren't even paying attention. fb.me beyond React 16. Dude, we're going beyond. They'd be like, "Do you know the basics?" They'd be like, "Hell no, we went beyond React 16." They're like, "You're on React 15. You suck."
Dude, I put that in Discord, homie.
Oh, you
It was
did?
in there this whole time. I'm
Well,
all about documentation.
I just wanted everybody to see that I can copy and paste the URL too. And then here's the video. He swore that there was some source, and now he's lying. So maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Okay, well, this has been amazing. So I know we got a couple more minutes to get one more joke in, or maybe we don't. We got 2 minutes. Mario, on a,
Gotcha.
on a scale of 5 to 5, how much did you like this session?
I think we were definitely bringing our A game. I'd say 5 because we kept on point. We had the tools ready. We were learning as we were going as usual, and there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. So, and I like that it primed me. You explained a lot of stuff to me, and it primed me to get jazzed about the next session, which is probably going to happen tomorrow morning. So
Oh,
everybody
wow.
definitely tune in.
I'm
And
getting
so,
happy about that. I like to hear it.
yeah. And so, we got a quick demo of what your new hero here, Abramov, was doing. I showed you what I had in place in Corona that I want to do as a web service. So that looks pretty simple, famous last words. But yeah, I'm digging it.
Man, hey, I'm having a lot of fun doing this with you. So, don't let, just because I fall in love with every new YouTuber and genius every week, you'll always be number one in my book.
Listen, I'll be number 1 right next to Chase Reiner. So
Oh, he had to get the last tail end of our video. I'm going to have to clip that out. Yeah, Rainer, he's an awesome SEO. I was watching his live streams last night. So, hey, dude, we are awesome. I'm so excited to hear we're going to go live tomorrow. And let's not forget what our audience has to say. Wow.
perfect.
We love you guys. We love you guys.
All right.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the long goodbye where it's like stop, close OBS. Mario, we're gonna be famous. We're gonna get 5 viewers. You watch.
I'm down, man. I'm definitely down.
Oh, I forgot to press the start streaming button. Nah,
Oh.
just kidding. Later, man. I'll see you soon.
Later. You
Bye.
bet.